Welcome back to another episode of the AE Sports Podcast. My name's Art, here with my brother Alex.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Got some new equipment, so bear with us. Hopefully, everything goes good. Today we are previewing Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax in the Battle of the Calebs. This fight will take place Saturday night on Fox. Fox Channel 11 for most people. Alex, how do you feel about boxing being back on Fox?
I think it's good. You know what? It's been a long time without boxing, so why not have boxing slowly come back?
I wish they would have had a better fight on Fox, though. Similar to the UFC, who put on Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar in a good, exciting fight. I don't think they picked the most exciting fight for this bout on Fox, but it is what it is. This week was a little slow for us. Preview, you'll be listening to it Thursday morning. Our recap of this fight will be up Saturday night. So after the fight, we will record and we'll put up the video as soon as possible. But next week we're going to be really busy. Next week we got the Super Bowl. We have a UFC fight night on Saturday. I believe there's boxing on Saturday also. So we're going to have a whole week of shows next week. That's how the show will be. It'll be, based on whatever's going on that week that we want to talk about. You got anything to say before we get started with the fight?
Not really. I think we're good right now.
All right. So Caleb Plant taking on Caleb Truax. Last time we saw Caleb Plant was in February, I believe, of last year. Dude, I was watching that fight back. There was a crowd.
I know.
That's how long ago it was since Caleb Plant fought. There was a crowd, and he was in his hometown of Nashville, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he fought Feigenbutz. Where he defended his version of the super middleweight title, which was 168 pounds. That he won from Uzcategui. And I think that's where we need to talk. What do you think of Caleb Plant as a boxer? Obviously, he's defending the title this weekend, but when it comes to, the other top 168 pounders, the Benavidez, the Canelo, who else is at 168? I'm trying to think. Is Durrell still at 168?
Yeah, Anthony Durrell.
Yeah, how do you feel he stacks up against the elites at 168?
I think he stacks up really good. You know what? I want to see some of these fights. I hope somebody will give him a shot at a championship, maybe a Canelo. I really want to see him and Benavidez go at it. They got a lot of beef going on YouTube, so
that's what you were telling me about. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So from what I'm seeing is Benavidez is saying that Caleb Plant is scared to fight him. What Caleb Plant is saying is that Benavidez is a little chicken, this and that. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I don't know why these guys hate each other. I don't know if maybe they try to make a fight back then or something and it didn't pan out. But for whatever reason, these guys don't like each other. And this is what we want to see. 2 undefeated guys that don't like each other.
Yeah, and that'll make for a heck of a fight. Would be nice if Benavidez was still a champion. But I think he lost his belt on the scales his last time out. And he actually just got scheduled for a fight. I don't know if it's official yet, but he'll be fighting, I believe, in March.
Yeah, I saw that he started sparring and everything, so he must have a fight lined up.
Yeah. So Caleb Plant, the fight against Uzcategui, I was surprised. You look back at it in hindsight, and I don't think Uzcategui was the Uzcategui that won the title. He definitely looked a lot slower on his feet, a lot more controlled, but I don't think that worked to his advantage. Then we saw Caleb Plant fight Mike Lee and stop him. Mike Lee, longtime top-ranked prospect. It seemed like his career didn't really pan out with Top Rank. He moved to PBC. I know he got a couple wins under PBC, and then they fed him to Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant stopped him. And then, like I said, last time we saw Caleb Plant was February of last year against Feigenbutz. Talk to me about Caleb Truax. I mean, what do you think about Caleb Truax?
Like, what do you mean exactly? Do you mean like in this fight, or do you mean just him as a fighter?
Him as a fighter. I mean, he had that big win over De Gale in England a few years back. Lost the rematch, which people were surprised that he won. I was surprised that he beat De Gale in England, in the UK or wherever it was. But he comes back. He loses the rematch. He had a rough fight. You can see the cut on that we have up on the screen right now. He fought against Peter Quillen where he got headbutt, really nasty gash. And this is a problem I have with like championships and championship fights and championship eliminators. Him and Quillen was an eliminator for the WBA 168-pound title. He gets headbutt by Quillen. It's a no contest, rightfully so. Quillen goes and fights Alfredo Angulo and loses. Caleb Truax fights, I believe, one fight against a very unknown fighter in Truax's hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota, I think he's from. And then he still ends up getting a title shot. So what's the point of having a title eliminator if nobody wins and then you still give one of the guys a title shot? It makes no sense.
You know what? Boxing has not made sense in a long time. So
very true.
I'm not surprised about that.
Very true. So how do you see this fight panning out? Let's talk about the fight now.
You know what? Caleb Truax, you told me what I thought about him. I think he's he's a veteran in there. Yeah. You know what? His record is 31 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. So he's had some good fights. You know, he's been in there with Daniel Jacobs. He's been in there with James DeGale, Peter Quillen. So he's been in there with some top names. I'm not going to say this is anything new to him, right?
I agree.
Unfortunately for him, I do think that Caleb Plant is just too skilled for him. I think Caleb Plant's I like Caleb Plant. You know what? He's very slick in that ring, man. He knows what to do. He's good on his angles. He loves to use the jab, loves to use combinations, and he loves to just get out of the way of punches. And I think he's real just agile in the ring. You know, he loves to slip and dip punches, and he's quick. He's quick, and he may not have that type of knockout power, but he has that type of power that can drop you or he can stun you. So
it can surprise.
Yeah. So a guy like anybody, like, you know, usually when guys are like good boxers but they don't have that type of power, you're worried about what's gonna happen when they get in there with somebody who's too big and they're just gonna walk them down. Kind of like a Paulie Malignaggi, who was a really good boxer, but every time he got in there with in the ring with somebody that was too big, too strong, and hit too hard, he just couldn't get that job done. Like, there was no way for him to keep that person off of him. Caleb Plant's not gonna have that problem. So I think Caleb Plant is gonna have a good future in this division.
Okay.
For now.
What about in this fight?
In this fight, I think Caleb Plant's gonna put on a clinic, and I think he's gonna be just too much for a guy like Caleb Truax, unfortunately.
And Caleb Truax, I think his game plan going in has to be the bigger guy, like you said, bigger guy. You know, he's gonna have to chase around Caleb Plant because Caleb Plant is fast. He has fast hands. He can get in and out, throw his combinations quickly. So he definitely has an advantage over Truax. This fight, I don't know, you know, if Truax were to beat Quillen convincingly, then maybe I would have been a little more interested because I'd be like, okay, well, Truax won a title eliminator for this fight, but he didn't. So I'm on the fence about this fight. I think Caleb Plant will win. Decision or stoppage?
I think Caleb Plant stops him I want to say around round 8, 7. I think he stops him.
I think Truax is a veteran enough to hang around and survive and, you know, go all 12 with Caleb Plant. So I'm gonna say decision.
Okay.
On the undercard, I believe the co-main event is a heavyweight with, I'm gonna be honest, 2 heavyweights that I've never heard of, and the only real name, there's 2 names on the undercard that I recognize. Joey Spencer, who's a junior middleweight prospect, who's highly touted, highly regarded, but just haven't seen that it factor from him yet.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And then Rancis Barthélemy will also be on the undercard. I think those.
Rancis Barthélemy. I think the last time I saw Rancis Barthélemy in the ring was when he fought. What's his name? The guy that Mikey fought. Mikey fought Robert Easter.
Robert Easter.
Was it that one? Oh, yeah. If anybody wants to see a good fight, you go and look up Rancis Barthélemy versus Robert Easter. Oh, when you wake up from just the snooze fest it was, let me know how it went.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that was a really.
I had
fight.
The displeasure of watching that fight for 12 rounds. I will never watch. I didn't want to watch boxing for a whole 2 months.
And it's funny because you watch that fight and you're like, oh, man, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And it just never happened.
Nothing happened. Nothing
exactly.
Happened.
Nothing happened.
You know what? I was robbed of, a whole hour of my life right there. That shit, I was upset because, I thought Robert Easter versus Rancis Barthélemy, 140 pounds, for, 140 pounds. I think it
was at 35 at the time, no?
Was it 35?
I think it was 35.
I thought it was when Robert Easter moved up to 140, no? Oh, no, he barely moved up, huh?
No, he's back. He's at 135.
Oh, really? I thought he was going to move up.
No, he did one catchweight fight, I think, at 140 or 139 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think he's back to 135.
Well, who knows? Maybe it was just a clash of styles. Maybe that's what it was, but... I mean, hopefully Rancis Barthélemy can put on a show because he's going to need to redeem himself.
Well, that's why he's on the prelims. And that's what I'm saying about this Fox card. Like, if you're going to put a card on Fox where, you're going to get millions of viewers because I think it's called syndicated television, if I'm not mistaken. So it's on like one of the main channels where I don't think you need cable to watch channel 11, right? Fox. Yeah. If you're going to have that many eyes on this card, you might want to put some exciting fights on there and some exciting fighters. I don't know if PBC did that. I don't know if PBC is taking advantage of the opportunity they have putting fights on Fox. Any last comments on this card? I mean, dude, there's nothing going on this weekend. It's very slow. Very slow.
Not really. It's slow. The Kovalev fight got canceled.
That was supposed to be this week.
What was up with that? What's the update on that?
Kovalev tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug.
What?
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Beck the Bully, who is a legit 175-pound prospect that I think could have put Kovalev out for good.
Really?
Retired him, yeah. I think he could have retired him.
Like this guy's got some skill, or?
Yeah, Beck the Bully's good. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but hey,
that's the lengths that guys will go through. I mean, if people, I don't know if this is, a UFC podcast, but for people that think that fight game is a big joke or whatever, Nick Lentz, he's an MMA fighter who actually had to end his career short because of an eye poke. So, an eye poke that cost him 40% of his vision. So, maybe this is the reason why guys will go to certain lengths to get an upper hand on somebody. Just, it's hard for them to accept that they're not who they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
It happens to a lot of fighters.
I could definitely see that, but Kovalev.
Not saying it's right. No, Trust me, not saying it's right. It's bad. Right. You can kill somebody doing that stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, that was a good fight. We're looking forward to. Real quick, announced on Wednesday. Was it on Wednesday? Virgil Ortiz is taking on Maurice Hooker in Dallas, Texas on March 13th, I believe. Mm-hmm. Really good fight. Really good. Really, really, really good fight. People say this is a step up for Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz has been at this level for a while now. Don't think it's a step up for him.
Well, it's definitely not a step up. I mean, it's more like if you look at it, Maurice Hooker's a 140-pounder going to 147.
I believe
so. So it's, is he going to be able to take the power?
Yeah, I don't.
He's gonna have to find out himself. I don't know if. I mean, he's got the size because he's tall and lengthy, but hopefully he's been sparring with some good 147 pounders because Virgil Ortiz is no joke.
I think this is a bigger fight. This is a big fight for Virgil Ortiz, but I think this is a bigger fight for Maurice Hooker, because he had a great rise. He became. Why is my mic going out? He became world champion, and then he loses the unification bout to Jose Ramirez, and then after that he hasn't. I mean, he fought once, I think, after that, and he did not look good. He won, but he did not look good, and there was this talk of him fighting Regis Prograis, which I thought would have been a great fight, but that fell through. And now he's fighting Virgil Ortiz. Like, this is the type of fight where if he loses this fight, he's either going to be a gatekeeper or he's done.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? When he fought Jose Ramirez, I was impressed with Maurice Hooker. Dude, because you know what? He showed, I thought Jose Ramirez was going to walk right through this guy. You know what? I thought Maurice Hooker I just didn't see anything special from him, but he showed that he can box against Jose Ramirez. He might have got stopped, but it was a good fight up until he got stopped.
Stoppage. Yeah, it was a competitive fight. I knew Maurice Hooker was going to be a tough out for Jose Ramirez. Not saying I did pick Ramirez to win, but Hooker, I knew Hooker was going to put up a fight, and it was going to be a close competitive fight. Like you said, he did good. He was doing good up until the stoppage. It was a close competitive fight. You could score the rounds either way, whatever way you want to score them. But Jose Ramirez got him out of there, and I don't know if Hooker is going to be the same since that stoppage, because that, even though it was a quick, not a quick stoppage, it was a good stoppage, but I'm saying, like, the flurry after everything happened so fast, he took some good punches in that little flurry at the end that stopped the fight. So, maybe that might have caused some damage, but this fight is I think a big fight for Maurice Hooker, not just for Virgil Ortiz, because Virgil Ortiz has shown that he's at this he's been at this level for a while now. So we'll have to see what kind of level Maurice Hooker is at, because Virgil Ortiz is gonna bring it. Anything else you want to talk about? I mean,
why is Maurice Hooker not fighting Regis Prograis?
No clue. I think Prograis wanted to stay at 140. They didn't want to meet at 144 or something like that. I don't know what happened.
What about what does this do to Josh Taylor? Is he going to be able to fight Jose Ramirez now?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's been
something they're working on.
Yeah, that's been in the. I'm sure they have to iron out details. Taylor has a huge following in the UK. Jose Ramirez has a huge following here in the US. It's pretty much just deciding where the fight's going to take place.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know exactly. I'm not part of the team or anything, but I think that's pretty much one of the big things, where the fight's going to take place, how much each guy's going to get paid. We're still in a pandemic, so who knows if there'll be fans or not. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to account for in that fight. All right, I think we'll end the episode there. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. Really appreciate it. Helps out the podcast. Free way to support the podcast. And yeah, any last things to say?
Yeah, guys, don't be shy to be putting some comments. Let us know who you want to win. Let us know why they're going to win.
Predictions, yeah.
Yeah, I like to read them. You know what? If people know they're boxing and they want to give their insight on it, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for thank you guys for watching this episode of the AA Sports Podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace out, guys.